How's it going, guys? Welcome to the German League Tuning YouTube channel. My name is Brad, and in this video I'm going to install a new Ringer Racing Stage 4 clutch. Alright guys, so probably 3 months ago I installed a Clutch Masters FX350 clutch that I got off a buddy. He just had it laying around, he gave it to me, and I installed it, and it had a decent amount of miles on it. Not sure exactly how many, but it didn't last long. I got maybe 2,000 miles out of it, 1,500 miles, something like that, and it's just slipping super bad. So I messed up, I installed a used clutch, and that's on me, but we have a Ringer Racing Stage 4 clutch that I picked up with the Clutch Masters lightweight flywheel. So I'm super excited to install it. It's going to be just an awesome clutch just all around. It'll have plenty of clamping force for the plans I have for this GTI, and it's just going to be a great clutch. So you can see, just instantly slips. Any type of, yeah, it shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, so we'll get this new clutch installed and do the normal 500 mile break-in period, and let it rip from there. So let's get to the video. Here's a Stage 4 Ringer Racing clutch assembly with the Clutch Masters lightweight flywheel that we're going to be installing in the GTI. This flywheel is nice. Very well made. Got the pressure plate. Looks good. And the clutch disc. So, same material on both sides, but it's the upgraded Stage 4 disc with the sprung hub, so it should have really nice engagement. And then came with some hardware and the installation tool. So, got everything we need. Let's get it installed. Let the install begin. Alright, got the airbox out, battery tray out. Did the shift cables, 2 bolts here, and then a nut that goes on that stud there. There's a little clip that holds this guy on. This one is a spring-loaded plastic clip. Just pry from the backside, pop him off. Yeah, so I undid the clutch line from the connection here where the bleeder is to the slave, and put a little rubber cap on him so that he doesn't leak. It'll keep dripping the fluid out that's in the reservoir, so you got to make sure you cap that off. I would zip tie it out of the way so that it's tucked up out of here, so you're not going to snag on it. Undid the shift cables and put them to the side, zip tied them out of the way so that they're not interfering with what you got going on, and we'll continue to keep going. Alright, next step, you want to take this axle out. So I undo the 3 nuts right here at the ball joint assembly. Undo the axle bolt and pull down on the control arm, slide this out of the way, and then you're going to undo the 6 bolts for the axle here, and the axle comes out. So now we're going to pull the starter. Lower dog bone mount comes out, and we'll have the bell housing bolts down here, so that one, and that one. And then I always leave this one for last. So this 18, I leave him for last. So we'll also undo this axle here in a second. And then once you get the trans jack underneath, then you can pull this bolt, and then the transmission will come out. So we're close. Okay, pro tip. When you pull the 6-speed trans out of these GTIs or any 2-liter 6-speed car, you want to pull this axle flange. So take the axle out on this side, and then there's a 6mm Allen. It's down inside, and it's actually pretty far in, probably about an inch, maybe 1.5 inches inside this flange. You do not want to strip this out. You want to make sure you use a very sharp Allen when you're taking this bolt out. If it strips out, you're not getting it out. It's crazy. You have to drill it out, and not a fun process at all. So anyway, you just undo that bolt there, axle flange slides out of there, and you'll be able to get the trans out a lot easier. So if you don't pull this, you're fighting the backing plate. So the flange is gonna hit that backing plate right there, and it's a pain in the ass. So it can be done, but you're gonna bend the crap out of the backing plate, and you're gonna be fighting it. So you're better off just pulling the flange, and then get the trans out a lot easier. Transmission's out. Visually, I can't see anything really until I get that off, but the flywheel's got a lot of movement. I don't think that was our problem. I think the clutch was just worn, but we'll see once we get the pressure plate off. Let's take a peek at this clutch here. It's still pretty hot because I just didn't really give it a time to cool off, but I mean, the pads are pretty worn down. So I'd say, yeah, this disc is shot. It's completely worn. Pressure plate's got some grooves in the lip right there. Flywheel, it's got some bluish areas really bad from slipping, which is normal for a slipping clutch because it just gets really, really hot. I didn't really launch this thing too many times. There's a couple small heat checks, but it's just worn out. So let's install the new one. It's always a good idea to put some Loctite on the bolts for the flywheel. So I've got some blue here, and we're gonna install all 8 by hand, get them all snug down, and then we're gonna torque them to 85 foot-pounds, and then we'll do 25 foot-pounds on the pressure plate. We're gonna torque these bolts here. Got the fancy crank lock tool going on. So we got our torque wrench set to 85 foot-pounds. It's tight. I got to 86, so close enough. All right, let's get the rest of them torqued down. Got our nifty clutch alignment tool, flywheel side. All right, so we'll center it up and bolt the pressure plate down. So when you tighten down the pressure plate, you want to get all the bolts hand tight first, so they're just touching the pressure plate. Then you do a few turns per bolt in a star pattern, and that will tighten down the pressure plate evenly so that it doesn't warp the springs, or for some reason get the disc in a weird position, which it shouldn't because it's the centering tool. But it's always just good to go around it in a star pattern as much as possible until they're all snug, and then you can torque them. There we go. Stage 4 Ringer Racing clutch completely installed. Everything torqued to spec. So now we're gonna put the transmission back in and see how it feels. So in order to get this flange in, you're gonna have to push in with one hand and then use your other hand to push against the impact and give it a little bit of juice, and that's gonna allow it to grab. But I can't do it with one hand, so just giving you the heads up on how to do it. Alright guys, trans is back in, battery's hooked up, everything's good. I'm going to start it without the intake on, just in case I need to re-bleed it a little bit. I did bleed the clutch, so that was just an easy little thing on these cars. Sometimes it can be a pain in the ass, but we'll see how this one goes. Alright, key on. Pedal feels good. Alright, clutch all the way in. Alright, letting out the clutch. Reset the steering wheel and traction control light. There we go. First gear. Nice. Yeah, the pedal feels very smooth. It's awesome. It's just nice and easy. A little bit of transmission chatter with that single mass flywheel, but it's actually not that bad, which is great. Sometimes these transmissions can rattle really loud. So yeah, that was a good install. Let's check our time. Here, hold on. Let's see where we are. Stop. So 2 hours, 19 minutes, 48 seconds. So I got to put the airbox in and get it on the ground, but I mean it's pretty much done. So clutch install on these is not too bad. I mean, when you do a bunch of them, it's just kind of second nature. So I'll check in with you guys when we get on the road. Okay, so first impressions are amazing. The clutch feels so good. It feels just like stock would, except it's got a really nice bite to it, whereas stock kind of slips a little bit. This has a slight slip to it, but I mean, you can tell it's going to grab, but the pedal feel is awesome. When you just push it in, it's nice and smooth. Doesn't have any really harsh engagement. That FX350, because it was so worn out, I mean, it was really hard to push. So from that this morning until this just now is awesome. But hear a little bit of a transmission noise because of that single mass flywheel, but it's really not bad. And the clutch chatter, the transmission chatter at idle is really good. You don't hear it at all, which is awesome. Alright guys, I just put 32 miles on the clutch and it feels amazing. The engagement is great. The pedal feel is awesome. It doesn't have any hesitation, any type of harshness to it. It's just nice and smooth. So I really like this Ringer Racing Stage 4 clutch. So if anybody's in the market for one, definitely hit up Ringer Racing. Mike Hood is the owner. He's phenomenal to work with. I messaged him a bunch before I bought this clutch, so shout out to Mike for putting up with all my questions, and he's a great dude. So if you guys need a clutch for your GTI, your B5S4, your 180 GTI, Golf, Passat, anything, he offers a really wide range of clutches, and then also the flywheel through Clutch Masters. It's a very nice combo and very smooth and awesome to drive. So I will be upgrading to his Stage 4 in my S4 when the time comes, but you know, for now it'll be awesome in the GTI, and it'll allow us to increase the power in this thing that I plan on doing. You know, big turbo and all the goodies that are going to go along with it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.